This video did not appear by chance, it found you, and the reason is simple. Your quantum manifestation is already real. Out of billions of videos, among endless distractions, why this one? Why now? Because your frequency has shifted. You have already sent a signal strong enough into the quantum field that reality had no choice but to respond. This moment is not coincidence. It is confirmation. Think for a moment about the subtle awareness you've been carrying lately. That quiet feeling that something in your life is already changing, even before your eyes can see the evidence. That inner recognition that whispers, "I already know this." That is not imagination. It is resonance. It is the field responding. And this video is part of that response. Not entertainment, not distraction, but a mirror placed directly on your path, showing you that your manifestation is no longer an idea. It is already a force in motion. When manifestation begins to reveal itself, it doesn't arrive with fireworks. It arrives with recognition. It appears as a moment like this, a sign so precise it interrupts your routine and demands your attention. This is the beginning of your recognition, the moment you will look back on and say, "That was when I knew. That was when I saw proof with my own eyes." This is not coincidence. This is not random. This is your receipt. And once you accept it for what it is, you begin to notice that the proof does not end here. It multiplies, showing up in ways you can no longer dismiss as chance. If your quantum manifestation is already real, there must be evidence. And the truth is, you've been surrounded by it. Think back to the repeating numbers that keep appearing at the exact moment you need reassurance. The unexpected conversation that answers a question you hadn't spoken aloud. The dream that clings to you in the morning, carrying a message you cannot ignore. Or even the unexplainable pull that brought you here to these words at precisely this moment. At first glance, these details seem small, even random, but they are not. They are echoes, fragments of a reality that already exists, brushing against your awareness so you cannot forget where you are heading. And maybe you felt it not just in your world, but in your body. A strange kind of restlessness, as if your system is preparing for something your eyes can't yet see. A deep fatigue that no amount of sleep seems to fix. The sensation that you no longer belong fully to the life around you, even though the new life hasn't yet appeared in physical form. This tension is not a mistake. It is not a sign of failure. It is the unmistakable proof that your old reality is dissolving while your new one is taking shape. The exhaustion you feel is the energy required to bridge the gap. It is the vibration of two worlds brushing against one another as the shift accelerates. Every synchronicity, every intuitive nudge, every subtle sign is not asking you to wait for something to begin. They are reminding you that it has already begun. You are not searching anymore. You are being guided, step by step, into alignment with the life you already chose. But here is the question that matters now. If the universe is constantly placing signals in your path, how do you know which ones are true messages and which ones are only illusions created by the restless mind? That distinction is what changes everything. Right now, you may feel as though you are suspended between two realities. On one side, the familiar world you've always known, the routines, the limitations, the same patterns repeating. On the other side, a reality that feels alive inside you, so vivid you can almost touch it, yet still invisible to your eyes. It is like walking with one foot on solid ground and the other already stepping into something new. And this in-between state can feel confusing, even exhausting. But listen carefully. That exhaustion is not failure. It is evidence. It is the living proof that your manifestation is unfolding. Think of it like a radio caught between two stations. One frequency is the voice of your old self, filled with doubt, fear, and repetition. The other is the voice of your new self, aligned, whole, already living the life you are moving toward. Right now you hear both at once, the static, the interference, the uneasy overlap. It is not a mistake. It is the sound of transition, the friction of two realities colliding as one dissolves and the other crystallizes. And maybe you felt this pull in your body, that strange restlessness that no sleep can cure, that undeniable awareness that you no longer fully belong to the old life, even though the new one hasn't completely arrived. This sensation is not your imagination. It is the unmistakable signal that your future self is pulling you forward. Because that version of you already exists. It has already reached the destination, and from that place, it has extended a cord of light, an invisible tow rope, linking you to itself. Every synchronicity, every sudden intuition, every sign like this very video is the rope tightening, tugging you closer to the reality you already claimed. So take a moment to acknowledge it. If these words resonate within you, declare it. Write, "I feel the pull," in the comments. Not for the algorithm, but as your decree to the universe. I recognize the rope. I feel my future calling me. And I know my manifestation is real. This act is more than symbolic. It collapses thought into form. It transforms inner recognition into physical confirmation. It turns awareness into alignment. And once you understand this, the doubt begins to fade. Because you see that you are not waiting for the universe. The universe has been responding all along. The pull you feel is not a question. It is proof that your arrival is already inevitable. For a long time, it may have felt like you were calling into silence. You affirmed, you visualized, you asked, you waited. And still, the outer world seemed slow to respond, almost deaf to your requests. But the truth is this: the universe was never silent. It has already heard. It has always been listening. The tension you've been carrying, the sense of living between worlds, the exhaustion of waiting, is not the absence of movement. It is the proof that everything is moving at once. Your manifestation is not preparing to begin. It is already in motion. It is already in full swing. Think of it like striking a tuning fork. The instant you release a clear and coherent vibration, through thought, through feeling, through alignment, the quantum field begins to resonate with it. The note has already been struck. The response is already underway. And just like an echo in a canyon, once the vibration is sent, it cannot be unsent. It must return. That return is what you are experiencing right now. This is why the signs are multiplying. The repeating numbers, the synchronicities that seem too precise to be chance, the sudden encounters that feel like answers delivered on schedule. Each one is evidence that the universe is not ignoring you. It is answering, shaping reality around the signal you already sent. You are no longer trying to convince reality to listen. You are beginning to recognize the echoes of what has already been received. And when you see this clearly, the frustration dissolves. Because you realize you were never waiting to be chosen. You had already been answered. This recognition transforms you. It shifts you from the restless seeker, always looking for proof, into the conscious observer, watching the miracle unfold in front of you. Every delay stops feeling like silence and starts revealing itself as timing. Every pause becomes part of the return. So now the real challenge is not whether the universe is responding. That has already been proven. The challenge is learning how to tell the difference between the true signals from the field and the illusions created by the restless mind. Because once you can discern the difference, doubt disappears and clarity takes its place. Now that you know the universe has already heard you, another question arises. How do you recognize the difference between genuine signals from the quantum field and the illusions created by your anxious mind? Because not every coincidence is a message, and not every impulse is guidance. Mistaking noise for truth can pull you back into doubt and frustration, leaving you trapped in the cycle of searching. The anxious mind invents signs that arrive with a rush of excitement, almost like an adrenaline spike. You feel a moment of relief and think, finally, this must be it. But soon after, the excitement fades and fear takes its place. What if it was just luck? What if it disappears? What if I lose everything I've been waiting for? That pattern does not come from the field. It comes from doubt. It is the echo of desperation, not the confirmation of destiny. True signals feel completely different. They do not come with frantic highs followed by crashing lows. They land quietly, bringing peace, inevitability, and recognition. They carry the sense of something you already knew deep inside. When a genuine sign arrives, the body relaxes before the mind even reacts. The breath slows. A subtle calm spreads through your chest. There is no grasping, no panic, no need to force. It feels less like a surprise and more like a memory returning. This is the difference that matters most. False signals agitate. True signals settle. The mind may doubt, but the body always knows. Your nervous system is your compass. It will not lie to you. So ask yourself honestly. When that moment came, when that sign appeared, what followed inside you? Did you spiral into hunger for more proof, desperate to cling to it? Or did you feel a quiet sense of completion, even if only for a few seconds? The answer is the truth you are looking for. Learning this discernment changes everything, because once you know how to separate static from signal, you no longer waste energy chasing illusions. You stop doubting whether the field is responding because you recognize its whispers with certainty. And the more you trust the genuine signals, the more stable your vibration becomes. Stability is what allows the new reality to crystallize, faster and with less resistance. This is why you were guided here, not only to notice the signs, but to learn how to read them, to stop being pulled back and forth by the tricks of the mind, and instead anchor yourself in the truth of your future reality. The whispers are subtle, the noise is loud, but the quiet voice is always the one that carries proof that your manifestation is real. Most people make the same mistake when the first true signs of their manifestation appear. They grasp at them. They cling with desperate energy, analyzing, overthinking, trying to hold on tightly so that the sign will not fade. The mind rushes in with celebration, then with fear, asking, what if it disappears? What if I lose it? What do I need to do now? But this reaction is born from doubt, not trust. And doubt shakes the very frequency that attracted the sign in the first place. A genuine signal is delicate, like the reflection of a tree on a still lake. The moment you throw a stone into the water, the image distorts. The frantic grasping of the mind is that stone. It breaks the calm and dissolves the reflection. The secret, then, is not to grab, but to receive. To see the first sprout emerging from the soil of your inner garden and recognize it, not with panic or impatience, but with quiet gratitude. Think of yourself as a gardener who has planted a seed. When the first green shoot appears, he does not dig it up to check the roots, nor does he pull it upward in fear that it might stop growing. He smiles, he acknowledges, he continues to care for the soil with trust. He knows the laws of nature are already at work. In the same way, your manifestation does not need your desperate control. It needs your calm recognition. Receiving with sovereign grace means allowing the sign to land without interference. It is the posture of one who knows they are not being offered a fragile token to chase, but a confirmation of what is already theirs. It is not about leaping with relief, but nodding with certainty. Not about fear of loss, but trust in inevitability. This calm reception keeps your frequency stable, and stability is what allows your new reality to crystallize completely. When you react with desperation, you fall back into the vibration of lack. When you receive with sovereignty, you remain in the vibration of completion. The difference may seem subtle, but it determines everything. One delays the arrival, the other accelerates it. So ask yourself with honesty, when a sign appears in your life, do you respond with restless hunger, needing it to prove something? Or do you respond with the quiet gratitude of someone who already knows? Each moment of reception is a declaration. Each response is the choice between doubt and mastery. The art of sovereign reception is your graduation into true creation. It shifts you from being a hopeful seeker into becoming the conscious architect of reality. You no longer force, you allow. You no longer chase, you embody. And from this state of being, reality has no choice but to follow your lead. There is a reason you feel pulled forward, even when your outer life seems unchanged. There is a reason you cannot settle fully into the old world, no matter how familiar it feels. That restlessness is not random. It is the force of your future self already reaching back for you. That version of you already exists, whole, fulfilled, at peace. It is not an idea or a fantasy. It is a real point of consciousness in the field of infinite possibilities. From where it stands, it has extended an invisible rope of light, a tow line connecting directly to you. The pull you feel is that connection in motion. Every synchronicity you notice, every sudden intuition, every sign that arrives too perfectly to be coincidence is the vibration of that rope. It is your future self giving you course corrections, reminding you that you are not wandering blind, but being guided step by step. This is why certain events arrive with perfect timing, the right person crossing your path, the message that answers your question before you ask it, the repeating pattern that interrupts your routine and demands attention. These are not accidents, they are gentle tugs, keeping you aligned with the direction you have already chosen. The tension you feel, that mix of yearning and impatience, is not a signal of failure, it is the proof of motion. You are not pushing a heavy stone up a hill, struggling to create everything from scratch. You are being pulled toward the summit by a version of you that has already arrived. Imagine it clearly. The future you is standing firmly in the reality you are manifesting. That self is secure, alive, already embodying the life you long for. And from that place, it holds the rope with certainty, guiding you through the fog of doubt and distraction. The signs you receive are proof that the connection is unbreakable. Even when fear whispers that nothing is happening, the rope never loosens. It is always pulling, always guiding, always leading you forward. When you recognize this truth, the feeling of restlessness changes. What once felt like anxiety begins to feel like guidance. What once felt like uncertainty becomes a reminder that the process is active. You no longer fear the pull, you begin to trust it. The invisible tow rope is real. It is why you are here now. It is why the signs found you. It is why the pull never stops. Because the destination is already waiting, and your arrival is not a question. It is a certainty unfolding. The universe does not speak in shouts, it whispers. The field does not crash into your life with blinding proof. It brushes gently at the edges of your awareness, subtle and precise, so quiet that only a heart willing to listen can truly hear. And this is where so many people become lost. The anxious mind expects signs to be loud, spectacular, undeniable. It wants fireworks in the sky, numbers flashing like neon lights, a message carved so clearly that no doubt could ever survive. But the soul does not communicate this way. Its language is resonance, not spectacle. If you wait for the universe to scream, you will miss it, because it never screams. It hums, it nudges, it places gentle confirmations in front of you that are easy to dismiss if you are not present enough to see. Think of the last time you had an intuition so strong you could not explain it, or the moment you overheard someone say words that felt like they were meant only for you, or the way a particular song arrived at the exact second you needed it, speaking directly to your inner state. These are not accidents. These are the whispers. The mind resists whispers because whispers require trust. They do not come with proof attached. They do not erase doubt by force. They invite you to choose faith over fear, recognition over denial. The anxious mind craves dramatic confirmation, but the soul knows the truth requires no performance. It needs only recognition. This is why subtlety is not weakness. It is refinement. The universe is infinitely intelligent, and it does not waste energy proving itself to you again and again. It is not trying to convince you. It is teaching you to tune your awareness, to quiet the noise of doubt, and to recognize what is already present. The subtle signals are training your perception to match the frequency of your future self. They are not meant to overwhelm you. They are meant to align you. Imagine a painter working with delicate brush strokes on a vast canvas. At first, the movements seem small, almost insignificant, but with time, the picture becomes clear, and you realize every gentle line was essential. The universe paints your path in the same way, not with bold strokes demanding your attention, but with quiet details that reveal themselves only when you step back and see the whole. And here lies the trap that keeps many stuck. When you demand louder signs, you often create them yourself. The mind projects meaning where none was meant, generating false signals fueled by anxiety. It grasps at shadows, hoping to find certainty, but instead it builds illusions that collapse as quickly as they appear. The difference between this noise and the true language of the soul is simple. One leaves you restless, the other leaves you calm. A true signal does not shake you with adrenaline. It lands softly, like a memory remembered, like recognition more than discovery. It carries a familiarity that bypasses logic and settles directly into your body. You do not think, "What if?" You feel, "Of course." This is the mark of authenticity, and this is why cultivating silence within yourself is essential. The whispers of the field cannot be heard through the static of a frantic mind. Only when you quiet the inner noise do you notice the subtle guidance that has always been present. Every repeated number, every small synchronicity, every intuitive nudge is a word in the language of your soul. If you learn to read it, you stop begging for proof and begin living in recognition. Think of your inner world as a radio. You are surrounded by countless stations, each broadcasting at once, but you only hear the one you are tuned into. The signals of the quantum field are always here, always broadcasting. But only when your mind quiets do you align with the station that matches your future self. The whispers were never absent. You were only tuned elsewhere. This is why your practice is not to search harder, but to listen deeper. Not to chase louder signs, but to honor the ones already arriving. To treat every small alignment not as coincidence, but as communication. To stop asking the universe to scream, and instead become fluent in the quiet language of resonance. And when you master this language, everything changes. You stop living as a seeker who constantly needs more evidence. You begin living as a receiver, anchored in trust, stabilized by calm. The whispers guide you not because they are loud, but because you are finally quiet enough to hear them. So ask yourself honestly, how many signs have you ignored, dismissed, or forgotten because they felt too small? How many whispers did you overlook while waiting for a shout that never came? And what would shift in your life if you began treating every subtle nudge as sacred, every quiet alignment as undeniable evidence of the future already unfolding? The language of the soul is always speaking. It is not asking you to strain, but to soften, to stop demanding spectacle and begin honoring subtlety, because in the quantum field, the loudest voice is often the quietest whisper. When the first true signs appear, most people fall into the same trap. They react. They grasp at the signal as if it were fragile, temporary, something that could vanish if not held tightly. The mind races. Finally, it's happening. I can't lose this. What must I do now to make sure it continues? That rush of excitement quickly turns into fear, and fear lowers the frequency that attracted the sign in the first place. A genuine signal does not need you to hold it. It needs you to recognize it. Recognition stabilizes your frequency, reaction disrupts it. This is why so many manifestations seem to stall just when they begin to show signs of progress. The seeker does not realize that grasping at proof tells the field, I do not trust, I am still in lack. Think of a gardener who has planted seeds in fertile soil. One morning, he sees the first green shoot break through the earth. Anxious and impatient, he bends down, digging around the roots to make sure they are growing, or worse, pulling at the sprout to try to make it taller. In his desperation, he destroys the very life he was trying to nurture. The master gardener acts differently. He recognizes the sprout for what it is, proof of growth already underway. He smiles with certainty, waters the soil, removes the weeds of doubt, and allows the process to continue. He knows the seed carries its own intelligence. He knows the harvest is inevitable if he maintains the right environment. Your manifestation works in the same way. The sprout is the sign. It is not the final harvest, but it is proof that the process is alive and irreversible. Your job is not to force it, not to rush it, but to recognize and hold the vibration steady so the seed of reality can bloom fully. Another way to see it is through your own hands. Imagine holding water. If you panic and close your fist to hold it tightly, the water slips out between your fingers. But if you relax and open your palm, the water rests there naturally. The open hand is trust. The closed fist is fear. Manifestation cannot rest in a closed fist. It settles only in the open hand of one who knows it is already theirs. Reaction is a reflex of survival, but recognition is the posture of creation. Reaction says, what if I lose this? What if it disappears? Recognition says, this is confirmation. I already know it belongs to me. One comes from doubt, the other from sovereignty. Think about how many times you have received a subtle sign, a synchronicity, a repeated number, a meaningful dream, and instead of resting in peace, you began searching for more. You opened 10 more books, watched countless videos, asked endless questions, hoping the universe would prove itself louder. But what if that very hunger pushed the manifestation further away? What if the sign had already been enough, and your only task was to relax into certainty? This is the great paradox. The universe does not respond to force. It responds to stability. It does not accelerate because you demand more proof. It accelerates when you stop demanding anything and begin embodying the state of one who has already received. Every reaction is a test. When the sign arrives, do you grasp at it with restless hunger, or do you nod with quiet gratitude, letting it land in your body as confirmation? The seeker reacts. The architect recognizes, and that small difference decides whether your reality slows down or accelerates into form. The universe has no interest in convincing you. It already responded to your vibration. The signs are not meant to make you panic or celebrate wildly. They are meant to train you in the art of calm reception, because the one who receives with calm becomes unshakable, and an unshakable frequency is irresistible to the field. So the question is this: when the next sign appears in your life, how will you meet it? With the frantic grip of someone who doubts, or with the open hand of someone who already knows? Every response you give is a declaration. Every reaction or recognition is your way of telling the field who you believe you are. This is the moment of arrival. You are no longer the restless seeker, chasing signs, doubting, hoping that maybe one day the universe will answer you. You are the architect now. You have seen the proof. You have felt the pull. You have recognized the whispers and learned to receive them with sovereignty. The old version of you, the one who needed constant reassurance, has already begun to dissolve. What remains is the version who understands that reality does not happen to you. It emerges from you. You are no longer standing at the window of life, waiting for a train that may never come. You are the one building the tracks, the one choosing the destination, the one who knows that every breath, every thought, every emotion is part of the blueprint of creation. And now comes the final declaration. Not in theory, not in words alone, but in action. Because the act of claiming your truth is what locks it into place. If these words resonated with you, don't let this moment pass silently. Write in the comments below, "I am the architect of my reality." Let it be your seal, your decree, the evidence not just to the algorithm, but to the universe itself that you have stepped into mastery. And if you are ready to walk this path with full awareness, subscribe now. Not as a casual click, not as another video in your feed, but as a conscious act of alignment. Each time you return here, each time you choose to immerse yourself in this frequency, you strengthen the new reality you are building. This video did not find you by accident. It found you because you were ready to hear this truth. And if you felt the resonance, then know this. Your manifestation is not a possibility anymore. It is already alive. It is already yours. So breathe into this moment, anchor it, claim it, and declare it, because you are no longer waiting for proof. You are the proof.